Welcome to Therma-Kleen's Industrial 400 Getting Started video. After unpacking your machine and your handles, get your handle mounting hardware and we'll get started on putting on the handles. Okay, your first step is installing the handles. Take your handles and slide them into the handle brackets until they drop down completely. The next step is you want to put in the locking pins. Simply unclasp the latch, slide it through the handle, latch it again on the other side. Do that on both sides. Next, you want to take your bolt and washer and your wing nut and washer. You're going to install the bolt from the front to back through the bracket, through the handles. Next, you'll take your washer and your wing nut on the back side, spin that on. No reason to over tighten, just finger tight both sides. Okay, the first thing you want to do when getting started is make sure that all your switches are in the off position and that your temperature gauge is set to 400 degrees. Next, we need to fill the reservoir. The reservoir holds approximately 2 US gallons. It's important that the first time you start the machine that you do completely fill it. We recommend clean, if not purely distilled water, will make your heating element last longer. When you're done filling the machine, simply replace the cap back, taking care not to over tighten, and wipe up any spilled water. Next step is to plug in, but before plugging in, be sure that you check that you have the right circuit breaker recommended for your model machine. Now that the reservoir is full and we're plugged in, we're ready to turn the main power on. Now that the power is on, the green light indicates main power. The blue light indicates that the water pump is running. When you first start up the machine, you can use the speed fill option, which increases the rate of speed that the boiler fills. It's very useful the first time you start the machine or in the mornings. You can leave the switch on until the blue light goes off, and then the switch should be turned to the off position for regular running. Now that our pump is shut off, you'll hear it, and also you'll see that the blue light is going off. We turn the speed fill to the off position, and there it'll remain the entire time you're using the machine. When the boiler requests water, the blue light will come on again automatically. At this point, you want to make sure also that your add water light is off. We'll go across this later in the video. Now that the blue light is off and the red light is off, now it's safe to turn on the heater. We turn on the heater and wait for it to get up to temperature. Now that our machine is warmed up, our amber light will go off and on, indicating that the heater has reached temperature and is ready to use. But before we start using the machine, I want to talk about a couple safety things with this machine. It's very important that you wear gloves with this machine. It's really not optional. Everything about this machine is hot, even with the thermal coverings over the hose. You really need to be wearing gloves. The other thing is safety glasses. Since you are using a machine that blasts 180 psi, the chances for shooting debris off the floor or other objects that you're cleaning is very high. These are two necessities that you really need to use when using this machine. The other thing is safety when it comes to the hose. This is a very high temperature, high pressure hose. You do not need to be dragging the machine around with it, over pulling it, over bending it. It has a bend radius, of about 3 inches. If you start kinking it and stuff, you will end up severely shortening the lifespan of the hose and possibly causing injury to yourself by yanking on it. You need to take care of your hose and it'll take care of you. Also, this gun features a safety lock. It's very important that you use this when the gun is not in use. Especially when changing attachments. It'll save from ever having an accidental blast. Next, I'll go over how to use the quick connect fittings. You'll note inside the front of the gun it's all brass. It has an O-ring seal. It's spin-on. The actual extensions and attachments all have the female parts of this. You want to make sure that you're not dropping these on the ground because they are brass. If you abuse them, it'll make it difficult to screw together. All you do is insert the brass in there and start to turn. and making it finger tight is plenty, because the O-ring does the sealing. This particular attachment is for the brushes. Just spin a brush on the end there and you're ready to use. There's many different combinations you could do. This particular combination, I have a 1-foot wand with the blast tip. The blast tip is extremely useful in getting off tough spots. It's a very concentrated blast. There's also a 3-foot wand and other attachments. You'll note that our red light has come on. Depending on which model you have, it'll either come on or it'll blink. This indicates that the water reservoir is empty. At this time, you want to open your cap back up, and you can do this while the machine is running. Fill your reservoir back up. With about 2 gallons. Put your lid back on, and you're ready to keep going. Okay, machine shutdown is as simple as turning the heater off, turning the power switch off, and you're done. Me, for safety reasons, I do like to empty the steam out of the machine. This can be done by tying a piece of twine around the grip and the handle and letting the steam out either in a safe place on the ground or into a barrel or a bucket. That just saves for wear on the machine and makes sure that nobody doesn't walk around later and just pulls the trigger. Thank you for purchasing a Therma-Steam Industrial 400.